Hello and welcome to the European playoff draw for the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, here from the home of FIFA in Zurich, Switzerland. Later on, we will also have the draw for the Intercontinental playoffs, but first, all of our attention is on Europe. We are less than a year away from the FIFA World Cup 2022, with some teams having already secured their place, but for the 12 teams in today's draw, the journey continues.
Yep, that's right, and it promises to be a fascinating draw this evening. But before we get to all of that, it's with great pleasure that I introduce to you the FIFA President, Gianni Infantino.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, and our friends across the world, welcome to these draws for both the European playoff tournament and the Intercontinental playoffs for the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. The journey to qualify for the FIFA World Cup is a long one, full of challenges, action, emotion, and inspiring moments. All of these playoff matches mark the final step, the last opportunity for your national team to secure your place at the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar. For the 12 remaining European teams, 3 qualification spots remain. With these matches planned for March 2022, they promise to be an incredibly exciting competition for all involved. In addition, the race for the Intercontinental places to be settled in June 2022 also represent very last chances for teams to book their spot at the biggest sporting event on the planet. It is a great privilege to welcome you to this draw as you learn your path to the FIFA World Cup finals in less than a year's time. Good luck to all the teams involved, and of course we are looking forward to hosting you in Qatar next year. Bye-bye.
Well, European sides have a strong legacy at the FIFA World Cup and have won the last 4 editions of the tournament. I'm pretty sure UEFA President Alexander Čeferin will be hoping that that continues.
Dear members of national associations, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's been less than 10 days since the European qualifiers finished in the most thrilling fashion, with many group winners decided only in the closing moments of final games. The simple fact that the last 2 Euro winners, Italy and Portugal, will be looking for a second chance to qualify for the World Cup is a strong statement on how strong and versatile European national football is. 12 great teams will be back in the spotlight next March, facing each other in a last-ditch effort to secure one of the 3 remaining spots in the final tournament in Qatar. The new playoff tournament system, divided into 3 separate parts, offers an equal chance to each team to chase their national dreams, and at the same time it promises thrills, drama and moments to remember for the rest of us football fans. For sure, the upcoming clashes of our football giants will have all of above. I wish all teams the best of luck in the draw and a lot of success in 2022.
And to help us determine the path for the 12 teams, we're joined by some of football's greats. First up, we have a Portuguese legend who'd represented his nation at 2 FIFA World Cups and helped his team reach the semi-finals in 2006. Please welcome Thiago. And joining Thiago here today, we have one of the most decorated footballers in history, a veteran of 5 FIFA World Cups, a winning captain in 1990, and the most capped German player of all time is Lothar Matthäus. And to round out our lineup here this evening, a player who went on to be a vital part of the victorious France squad that lifted the World Cup in 1998. Please welcome Christian Carambeau.
Christian, Thiago, Lothar, a warm welcome. Thank you for joining us here in Zurich. A very exciting draw. Lothar, if I may start with you, a lot of success in the World Cup, we certainly know that, but is there a special qualification memory perhaps that steps in the mind?
Each qualification is very difficult. You can see it this year too. Big teams have to go in the playoff, and my most difficult qualification year was before we won the World Cup, 1989. We had the last game against Wales, and we have to win. And this was an open game till the end. But on the end, we won 2-1, and 1 year later, we won the World Cup.
Special memories, no doubt. And Thiago, for you, can you put into words how special it is to qualify for a competition like the FIFA World Cup?
Well, for a player, it's already special to play in the national team. And to play in the World Cup is the most fantastic thing. Represent your country in a competition like a World Cup is a dream.
Absolutely. Obviously, 12 nervous nations here tonight. Now, Christian, of all of these nations, there are some wonderful stories. But is there a particular nation that perhaps surprises you being here this evening?
You know what? I will pick 3 of them. Wales, North Macedonia, and of course Scotland. And I think that they will give us some surprises.
No doubt about that. Not too long to go until the draw gets underway, but we certainly do know that qualifying for the European teams has been extremely competitive with some big performances and a few surprises. So let's take a look at the teams who have qualified for the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 so far. Well, many congratulations to those 10 qualified teams. Guys, so much quality amongst the lot and in Europe. Lothar, let's talk about Germany because they were the first nation to qualify for the 22 World Cup. Are they the biggest threat out of Europe, do you think, going into Qatar next year?
We are very happy to have this qualification, and sure, we was not satisfied with the last World Cup 2018 in Russia. This was not our level. This was not our quality, and I think we have quality, and we will show it next year in Qatar better than in Russia.
Exciting times for Germany. Always a threat, no doubt. Thiago, for Portugal, back to the draw this evening because Portugal are here in it. Is there a nation that perhaps from a Portugal perspective you would like to avoid?
I would say that there is no easy teams in the playoffs for the World Cup. But if I have to choose one, I would say Ukraine. They are a very good team, and in the last 2 games that we faced them were not easy. So if it's possible, Ukraine.
No doubt Ukraine have proven to be very hard to beat in recent years. Christian, finally for you, still a few months to go between tonight's draw and the playoffs themselves in late March. But is there a nation here who you see could be a potential dark horse to make it to Qatar?
I love Wales, and I think that with Gareth Bale, he can make the difference, and add value for the club, for the team. Sorry.
Absolutely, a wonderful player and a nation who have certainly impressed in European championships. Guys, thank you so much. The draw not too far away now. And Sam, I think that we can all agree that whatever happens in this draw, we have some fantastic football to look forward to.
Oh, most definitely, and we cannot wait. Thank you very much, Adriano, and to our legends. Now, we are delighted to be virtually joined by the representatives from our playoff nations who will be keenly watching the draw tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, if you can hear me, put your thumbs up, please. Can you hear me? Okay, great. I hope a lot of you are feeling, that's great. I hope a lot of you are feeling confident about today's draw. If not, don't worry, we have it covered. And to get this draw started, let's bring in Manolo Zubiria, the Director of Competitions at FIFA, who will be conducting the draw this evening. So thank you very much, Manolo. Now, this is a totally new format for the European playoff draw. Can you just take us through it?
Yes, of course, Samantha. The draw features 12 European teams. 10 of these are the group runners-up from the first stage of the European qualifiers. The 2 remaining spots have been allocated to the best group winners from the UEFA Nations League that did not finish in the top 2 positions of their groups in the European qualifiers. The 12 teams will be drawn into 3 different playoff pathways consisting of 6 semifinals and 3 finals, all played as one-off matches. We will begin by drawing all 6 teams from Pot 1 in sequential order, and these teams will be the home team in each of the 6 semifinals. Next, we will draw all 6 teams from Pot 2, also in sequential order, and they will be the away teams in the 6 semifinals. This will complete the first part of the draw. The second part of the draw will determine which semifinal winners will host each of the 3 finals as the home teams. All 3 path winners will then qualify to the FIFA World Cup 2022 in Qatar. Now, Thiago and Lothar, it's an honor to share the stage with you. We will begin by drawing teams from Pot 1 with Thiago, but please, before that, we will quickly see which are the teams in Pot 1. And there we have them, the 6 teams. Thiago, please, let's give a nice steer to Pot 1, and let's draw the first team for the first semifinal, please.
Scotland.
So Scotland will be playing at home in semifinal number 1 of Path A.
Scotland are aiming to feature at their first World Cup for the first time since 1998. Now, overall, they've qualified 8 times previously. This includes 5 straight tournaments from 1974 to 1990.
Thank you, Samantha, for the interesting facts. Now, Thiago, please, let's proceed with team number 2.
Wales.
Wales will be the home team in semifinal number 2, also in Path A.
Wales have only lost 2 of their last 20 World Cup qualifying matches and were unbeaten in their last 7 matches in their group in the current World Cup qualifiers.
Thank you, Samantha. And now, Thiago, let's move on to the next team, please.
Russia.
Russia will be the home team in semifinal number 3 of Path B.
Quarter-finalists on home soil back in 2018, Russia have qualified for the FIFA World Cup 11 times in total, their best result being 4th in 1966.
Thank you again, Samantha. Now, Thiago, please, let's move on to team number 4 for semifinal number 4.
Sweden.
And so Sweden will be the home team in semifinal number 4 of Path B.
This is Sweden's 3rd straight appearance in these playoffs. They missed out on a place in the 2014 finals when they lost out against Portugal. However, they made up for it when they beat Italy to reach the 2018 World Cup finals in Russia.
Thanks again, Samantha. And we're down to 2 last teams for semifinals 5 and 6. Please, Thiago, let's see which team will be in semifinal 5.
Italy.
Italia will be home in semifinal number 5 in Path C.
Now, Italy have remarkably never lost a home World Cup qualifying fixture with a record of 48 wins, 11 draws from 59 games.
Thank you, Samantha. Now to confirm the last team. Thiago, you've left Portugal for the last team. Let's confirm in semifinal number 6.
Portugal.
And so Portugal will be home in semifinal number 6 in Path C.
And Portugal are no strangers to playoffs either. They earned their places at the 2010 and 2014 finals by beating Bosnia and Herzegovina and Sweden, respectively.
Thank you, Samantha, and thank you, Thiago, for your assistance with part number 1. And now we can move on to part number 2. Before doing so, let's quickly see who the 6 teams are in this part 2. And there we have on the 6 teams in part 2. Before we can begin drawing the teams, it is very important to mention that we have one constraint. Based on the decision taken by the UEFA Executive Committee, Ukraine and Russia cannot be drawn in the same path together. If such case were to occur, Ukraine would be placed in the next available playoff path. With that, now, Lothar, we're ready to start with part number 2. Please give it a nice steer, and let's find out the next opponent.
Ukraine.
So Ukraine will be away at Scotland in semi-final number 1 of Path A.
Ukraine remain unbeaten in their 8 matches in the current World Cup qualifying campaign. This includes 2 draws against the current champions, France.
Thank you, Samantha. Lothar, please, let's proceed with the next team.
Austria.
And Austria will be away at Wales in semi-final number 2, and with that, it completes Path A.
Austria's last appearance in the European playoffs was back in the 2002 qualifiers when they lost out against Turkey.
Thank you, Samantha. Lothar, please, let's proceed with the next team.
Poland.
And Poland will be away in Russia for semi-final number 3 of Path B.
Without a doubt, the most successful period for Poland in World Cup history was between 1974 and 1986.
Lothar, please, let's see who the opponent for Sweden will be in semi-final 4. This one's a little bit...
Oh,
There we go.
Yes.
got there in the end.
They didn't want to come out.
Czech Republic.
And the Czech Republic will be playing away in Sweden in semi-final number 4 to complete Path B.
The Czech Republic's last appearance in the World Cup was back in 2006, and they claimed that spot via the playoffs, beating Norway 2-0 on aggregate.
And now we're down to the last two very tough opponents. Let's see who they'll be paired up. First, we'll start for semi-final number 5, the opponent of Italy.
What's this?
They don't want to play Italy. There we go.
North Macedonia.
So North Macedonia will play in Italy for semi-final number 5 in Path C.
And this is a big one for North Macedonia because they're aiming to reach their first World Cup finals.
And with that, let's confirm the last team to complete the pairing in semi-final number 6.
Turkey.
And Turkey will play away in Portugal in semi-final number 6, and that completes Path C.
And this is an important one for Turkey as well. They haven't qualified for the finals since finishing 3rd in 2002.
Samantha will quickly summarize the pairings of all 6 semi-finals. Path A, semi-final number 1, Scotland will play at home against Ukraine. In semi-final number 2, Wales will be home against Austria. Path B, semi-final number 3, Russia will be home against Poland. In semi-final number 4, Sweden will play at home against the Czech Republic. Moving on to Path C, semi-final number 5, Italy will play at home against North Macedonia. And in semi-final number 6, Portugal will play home against Turkey. With that, we've concluded the first part of this draw. Samantha, back to you.
Thank you very much, Manolo. Right, that concludes the first half of our draw. Lothar, I know those balls were a bit fiddly. Don't worry, we got there in the end. Which draw actually stands out for you the most?
First, I wish each country good luck for this playoffs, for the qualification. But I think the Group C is very tough with Portugal, Italy, Turkey, and with North Macedonia in the first playoff games. For me, number C. It's the toughest group.
Okay, you're going to follow that up, Tiago?
Yeah.
What stands out for you?
For sure. Italy and Portugal, it's hard to say. And we cannot forget Turkey because it's a strong opponent as well for Portugal. So hope to see these games because it would be hard for my country.
Yeah, let's remember this is football. Anything can happen, right? So we now know who will be facing who in the 6 semi-finals. And let's be honest, what a great selection it is. Manolo, can you just take us through part 2?
Yes, of course, Samantha. So we're almost done. We just need to do one more final step in this draw. We now need to determine which semi-final winners will be allocated as the home teams in the finals round. There are 3 pots here to my left, pot A, B, and C, each representing the 3 pathways. In each pot, there are 2 balls, which represent the respective semi-finals from each of the paths. We will begin with pot A, and the first ball drawn will determine which of the 2 semi-final winners will be the home team in the playoff path A final. The same procedure will then be repeated for pot B and for Pot C. Christian, it's an honor to share the stage with you as well. We will now proceed with drawing the first ball from Pot A to determine the home team.
So, semifinal number 2.
So the winner of semifinal number 2 between Wales and Austria will be home in the final against the winner of Scotland versus Ukraine in Path A. Let's quickly confirm that the other ball indeed represents semifinal 1.
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Thank you, Christian. With that, we can move on to Pot B to determine which of the 2 semifinals will be hosting the final. Please, let's give it a steer.
Number 3.
Semifinal number 3. So the winner of Russia versus Poland will host the final of Path B versus the winner of the match semifinal 4, Sweden versus the Czech Republic. Let's quickly confirm the other ball representing semifinal 4. And indeed it is. Thank you, Christian. We can now proceed to the last spot. Let's give it a nice steer and draw one of the 2 balls, please.
Number 6.
And semifinal number 6 winner. So the winner of the match, Portugal-Turkey, will be home in the final of Path C against the winner of semifinal 5 between Italy and North Macedonia. Samantha, with that, we know we concluded this final part of the draw. Wish the best of luck to these teams. And back to you, please.
Okay, yeah, that's a very nice draw, guys. Oh, I think we have one more
yes, I need to
ball right there.
Oh, I'm sorry, for the final confirmation,
May I
Christian.
finish?
Thank you.
Number 5.
And semifinal number 5, Italy, North Macedonia. We got too excited with the matchup
We
in
did,
the
Christian,
finals.
thank God
Thank
we
you,
had
Christian.
you.
Welcome for the support. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, actually, I do want to bring our legends in for a little chat here. Look, how important is it that the teams have a home fixture in this one?
At home is always an extraordinary atmosphere, and obviously when you receive, you have the will of the fans to make your goal achieved.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much for that draw. Well, there you have it. The draw is set for the final 12 European teams to battle it out for 3 places. Yes, you heard me correctly, just 3 places at the FIFA World Cup 2022. Thank you to our draw conductor, Manolo Zubiria, and our FIFA legends for their excellent assistance. Giuliano, over to you.
Wow, what an incredible draw. Many exciting matches ahead, no doubt about that. And I know that the guests in our virtual audience will be anticipating these ties with the hope that their teams make it to Qatar next year. Let's bring the first one in. Roberto Mancini, head coach of the Azzurri. Ciao, Roberto. A very interesting draw for Italy. Of course, North Macedonia first at home, and, well, the obvious one, Portugal, on the other side of the draw alongside Turkey. Your initial reaction to the draw?
It's a very difficult draw for us because North Macedonia is a good team, and after, if we win, we go to play away the final, or in Turkey or in Portugal. It's very strong.
No doubt about that. Roberto, in bocca al lupo, we wish you all the very best with Italy, and of course, good preparations ahead of the playoffs in March. And a reminder that Roberto has been recently announced as a nominee in the running for the best FIFA football coach of the year. So let's see what he and his side can achieve on the road to Qatar. Let's go to Wales now. Rob Page is standing by. Rob, your side have a very strong recent record at the Euros, but how do you see your chances at qualifying for a first World Cup since 1958, first match at home against Austria?
Yeah, well, we've given ourselves a great opportunity. Like you said, it was 1958 and we qualified for the World Cup playoff again. So the incentive's there for us. We've worked ever so hard to finish second in the group to earn that home draw, and we've had the luck to draw, potentially win that semi-final for the finals, because it's all there for us to play for.
Absolutely, could be very important, that home leg. Single leg, of course, in the final, Scotland and Ukraine, the other half of that draw. All the best to Wales. Let's move over to Sweden now. Jan Andersson standing by. A reaction from Sweden, of course, came through the playoffs 4 years ago, eliminating Italy. Czech Republic first up this time around.
Yeah, of course, it's a tough game, but as you said, we did it good the last time when we were in the playoff, so hopefully we can do it again. But it's a tough game.
All the very best of luck to Sweden. Hopefully history can repeat itself from 4 years ago. Finally, let's head over now to Turkey. Stefan Kuntz standing by. Very interesting draw for Turkey. The legends have already said it. That is everyone looking forward to it now already. But Portugal first up away, but obviously win that, go through a home final. Your thoughts?
Yes, definitely path C is the most difficult one and the hardest one. But the development of the team and all the staff and the TFF around last weeks since I'm there gives me a lot of hope. And of course, the biggest wish would be to bring the most important game back to Turkey to see what we can achieve.
No doubt about that. And of course, we wish you well in your endeavours ahead of those playoffs in March. And all the best of luck to the other 8 participating nations as well. And thank you to all of our virtual guests. Well, it's certainly a packed football calendar coming up in the next few months, Samantha, notwithstanding, of course, the best FIFA Football Awards on January 17. So perhaps a quick reminder to our viewers this evening to make sure they head to FIFA.com to cast their votes and help decide our award winners for 2021.
Thank you very much, Adriano. Yep, there's so much to look forward to, including the draw for the Intercontinental playoffs for the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022, which we now turn our attentions to. And for that, we need one more special guest. With over 50 caps for Argentina, including appearing in the 2014 FIFA World Cup final, he was one of the finest defenders of his generation. Let's welcome Pablo Zabaleta.
Pablo, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us here in Zurich this evening. Obviously here for the Intercontinental playoff draw. It does feature the CONMEBOL region where your country, Argentina, are based. Fortunately, no concerns for Argentina there, but qualification this time around, just so tight, so many nations still battling it out for direct qualification. What have you made of it so far?
Absolutely. If you look at the table now, CONMEBOL, everything seems really tight. You know, always been very difficult until the very end. So we'll see who makes, you know, the 4th and the 5th spot for the World Cup.
Of course, Brazil and Argentina already qualified, but Uruguay, Chile, Peru, Colombia, Bolivia, there's so many still battling it out there. When we look at tonight's draw, though, slightly changed format, neutral venue, single leg ties between the 4 confederations. Does that alter any plans or have any impact on proceedings?
Well, from my point of view, I think would be very, you know, attractive, very interesting to see. You know, obviously one game, you know, neutral ground. I think, you know, it makes it a little bit more difficult. Of course, 2 games sometimes, you know, you're allowed probably to play in front of, you know, your fans at home, but obviously one game will be huge for all the teams.
Very exciting. Looking forward to the draw. Thank you, Pablo. And look, it's always so difficult to get through these intercontinental playoffs. And with that new format in 2022, these ties will be even more dramatic. Before we get to the draw, let's take a look back at some of the memorable playoffs from recent years. Wonderful scenes there. Many thanks to Pablo and, of course, to all our FIFA legends. Sam, back over to you for the draw.
Thank you very much, Adriano. Right, I want to bring our man in the middle back into the fold, Manolo, because we have another draw on our hands. So can you take us through the Intercontinental playoffs, please?
Sure, Samantha. There will be 4 teams contesting their Intercontinental playoff matches for the last 2 final spots in the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. These 4 teams will be drawn into 2 single-leg matches to be played in Qatar in June 2022. From AFC, it'll be the winner of the playoff round of World Cup qualifiers from the Asian zone. From CONCACAF, it'll be the 4th-place team from the final round of World Cup qualifiers for the North, Central American, and Caribbean zone. From CONMEBOL, it will be the 5th-place team from the World Cup qualifiers for the South American zone. And lastly, from OFC, it will be the winner of the World Cup qualifiers from the Oceania zone. So the draw is fairly simple. Balls representing the teams from the 4 confederations have been placed in a single pot. The first team drawn from the pot will play as Team A in playoff number 1. The second team drawn will play as Team A in playoff number 2. The third team drawn will play as Team B in playoff number 1. And finally, the 4th team drawn will play as Team B in playoff number 2. And with that, Pablo, again, it's an honor to share the stage with you. We can now proceed. Please give the pot a steer and draw the first ball, please.
AFC.
AFC will be Team A in playoff number 1.
Australia were the recent AFC participants in the Intercontinental playoffs. They went on to beat CONCACAF's Honduras to reach the 2018 finals in Russia.
Pablo, let's go find out, please. Let's take the next ball.
CONCACAF.
And the CONCACAF team will be Team A in the playoff number 2.
Now, overall, CONCACAF nations have been pretty successful in 3 of their 6 participations in these playoffs. That's down to Mexico in 1962 and 2014, and Trinidad and Tobago in 2006.
And with that, Pablo, now we're really down to the important. Let's find out who the AFC opponent will be. Let's draw the next ball.
CONMEBOL.
And CONMEBOL will be Team B in playoff number 1, and they'll be facing the team from AFC.
CONMEBOL nations have also been quite successful in 7 out of their 10 outings in the Intercontinental playoffs. Even more impressive is that they've won 6 of the last 7.
Thank you, Samantha. And with that, Pablo, let's confirm the last representative team.
OFC.
And OFC will be Team B in playoff number 2, and they will face the CONCACAF representative team.
New Zealand have represented the OFC in these playoffs in the last 3 editions of World Cup qualifying, earning a place at the 2010 World Cup with a 1-0 win, aggregate win over Bahrain.
Samantha, thank you. With that, we've officially concluded the draw. Wish the best of luck to the teams who are still playing their World Cup qualifiers, and best of luck when they reach the Intercontinental playoffs. And with that, pass it back to you, and thank you.
Okay, very nice work on that draw. Pablo, you're very much in your element over there. I do have to ask, look, we still don't know the teams that are going through right now, but how would they be feeling right now watching this draw?
Well, that's true. A few more games, to go for some of the team from different confederations. So obviously, World Cup is probably the biggest competition you can have as a football player. So whoever makes, the playoff, good luck to them.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. So after those concluding 2 draws, we certainly know a lot more about the route to the finals, starting in just under a year from now.
Exciting times indeed, Sam. And of course, thank you to all our guests here this evening. Lothar, vielen Dank. Obrigado, Tiago. Christian, merci beaucoup. And gracias, Pablo, our virtual guests, and of course, our draw conductor, Manolo. Very nice job. As well as all of you for joining us from right around the world.
The FIFA World Cup 2022 promises to be a unique tournament, an ultra-modern host country boasting ancient traditions, a compact stage as the setting for the greatest show on earth. As we say goodbye now from Zurich, the eyes of the world turn their focus to Qatar. Good night.